All right, so we are now live. Welcome, 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 everybody. And of course, this is live. So whether you're watching this after the live stream or whenever, welcome everyone to malikasflex. As promised, we are speaking about England today. We almost didn't have a live stream, but thank God for Daedry. We are able to to have a live stream. Um, so yes, let me quickly just go ahead and share this here. But I don't like to wait too long. Whatever you miss, and we're heading straight into it. So yes, so we have here with us Deidre Ann. She is a Jamaican who migrated to England, and I want Deidre to introduce herself. You know, Just you can say your name again if you want to say your full government name. It's all up to you. Where you're from originally, where you live now, your educational background, and any other details that you want to share about yourself.
All right, it's not much, but I'm Deidre Duncan. I
Mm-hmm.
am from Saint Anne, Jamaica.
Period.
Big up Saint Anne, yes. And I'm now living in London, UK.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have my bachelor's degree in education and I teach food and nutrition.
All right. Thank you so much. So this question I ask everybody who comes onto this platform: what prick your foot bottom to leave good country to go to a brand new one, to go all the way to England? Is how long is the ride? 8 hours?
Nine, actually. And it can be more
Wow.
if you
I
have a
guess,
layover. Straight flight, I was on the flight for 9.
wow. I get
Yeah.
anxiety on a 4 hour ride, and imagine 9 whole hours. Like,
I
that's
don't mind it,
crazy.
I don't mind it.
Really?
I love a plane
Wow.
ride.
And I hate when it's long because I have to use the bathroom at some point and I get anxiety in the
Oh.
bathroom. I feel like if there's some turbulence while I'm in the bathroom and I don't have my seatbelt on,
Mhm.
it's like the wildest. It's a fear.
All
But
right.
yeah. What caused you to move all the way from Jamaica for a 9 hour ride to England?
Well, actually, as a child, I always wanted to move to one out of two places. I always want to go to either China or London, to be specific. So when I heard that there's an opportunity for me to teach in London, I was happy. But of course, we know that most people leave Jamaica to go to another country because of the money, and we
Yeah.
can some more money and fix up our lives, pay off some debts and stuff like that. So that was one of the reasons.
Okay. Did you travel with friends, family? Did you go all by yourself?
Me, myself, and I. But fortunately, my sister, she's a nurse. She came over 3 years before me, so I had her
Oh.
to lean on.
So is
Right.
she like in a similar area as you are right now, or
She's 3 hours
from?
away from me.
So you're still by yourself.
Yeah, basically. But at least I had somebody to meet me at the airport, and I had somewhere to stay until I found somewhere to
Yes.
live. So yeah.
What? But if you had somewhere to stay, like you said, she's 3 hours away from you. I'm assuming that's far from where you work.
Yes, but the
So,
thing is, I mean, I got here in August and I would start work in September. So if I stay,
oh,
yeah, I had somewhere to stay right off the plane without spending any money for any Airbnb or anything. And then we traveled down to London together to look for somewhere. So that took off some of the
awesome.
stress.
So at least, as I said, she would know the runnings already, and she was able
Yeah.
to help you to get settled. By the way, do you live in an apartment or a house? How does it work in London? In you said you're in London?
Well, London, yeah.
Yeah. How does it work in London? Is it apartments, houses?
You have houses, you have apartments, but honestly, as somebody just coming here, if you want to save some money and see where your money going, you have to have a housemate. You have to live with somebody.
So you currently live with somebody.
Yeah, who
So
is
it's like,
another Jamaican teacher
okay,
who
that's
came here.
cool. At
Yeah,
least it's a Jamaican and not like
a
somebody
random person.
little, right. I know that can
Exactly.
possibly be uncomfortable. But I'm
Very.
happy for you that that's a Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I want you to briefly explain the process, because this is something I want to know for myself personally as well. The process to get to England, like just in 2 minutes, tell me from the conception in your mind to say, hey, I want to go to England, to landing in England to teach. What is the process like?
All right. So,
And I want
you
money
know,
to, like, if you have to pay anything, or I want those details as well.
all right, no problem. I was trying to actually teach in the US, but then for my subject area, it's not a subject that is really so popular in the US, right?
Right.
And then I saw
What's your
Omar.
subject area? I'm sorry for people
Food.
who are listening.
Oh,
Food and
food
nutrition.
technology, food and
Okay.
nutrition.
Okay.
And Omar, can't remember his last name, from Sharpwood.
Isaac.
Yeah, Omar Isaacs.
We're calling the name over here, but
I saw him. I
yes.
think I saw him post something on Facebook, and then one of my batchmates, Regina, sent it to me as well, and then my sister knew somebody, so I said, "All right, then let me
Okay.
try a thing." So basically I just sent an email to somebody. It was I Can Teach UK.
Oh, oh, I
Right.
know somebody else on that program.
Right.
Cool.
So you have Hourglass and you have I Can Teach. So
Okay.
I sent an email that was in 2021. I sent that email, during COVID. They responded to me saying that they'll have jobs. So I had to do like a video interview where
Okay.
the questions would come up on the screen and then you record yourself answering.
Hmm.
And I just did that, and I waited until they sent me a confirmation early. I think it was April. In April, that they have a job, a school looking for a food technology teacher in September. And I just sent in my resume, and everything just started to move so quickly from there.
Oh,
Sent in
wow.
my resume. I had a first video meeting with my now line manager,
Hmm.
and just to get to know me, see if I'm somebody who'd be comfortable working with. Thank
Right.
God
So it
he
was
was
like an
comfortable.
interview, like it was just like a
I was nervous because I thought it was an interview,
interview. Oh,
but then it was just regular. He was just asking me questions. We were just talking about the subject, and it was comfortable, honestly.
yeah.
And then of course I have a recruiter. Her name is Jasmine, very nice. And
Oh,
the recruiter from I Can Teach UK, they're very supportive. They're there with you every single step of the way. If you're nervous about anything, you can ask them. So of course, before I went to the interview, sorry, I'm all over the place.
it's
Before I
it's
went to
okay.
that
It's
before
okay.
I went to that interview, she called me just to find out some background information, like schools that I've worked at before.
Hmm.
And because in her words, the school that I would be going to has children with challenging backgrounds. So she wanted to know if I've been working at a school which is similar, which I was.
Okay,
So
cool.
she's like, okay, this would be okay for you, should be fine here. And then we went on to the interview. After speaking with my line manager, then I had the official interview now with the principal and an assistant principal,
Hmm.
which honestly wasn't so bad either. They were nice to talk to. They were welcoming,
Yeah.
understanding. I didn't feel nervous at all. And I tell you already, I'm shy. I am shy. So it was really um comfortable. And then no, the recruiter is the one who gave me a call, because she would call me because of the time difference. I know that I would get an email or a call 7 a.m.
Mhm.
every morning
Okay.
because of the time difference. So she would wait on that time, because that's like what, 3 p.m. Yeah, here it would have been 3 p.m. here.
Yeah.
So she would wait on that time to call me, and then she called me with the good news.
Like,
She
yay.
called me with the good news, and then the process. Should I go into the money part on that yet?
Yes, ma'am. Because we want to know
Okay.
how much money. Like, if I'm interested in going, I want to know how much money I'll need to get there.
It's expensive.
Lay it on us. Lay it on us.
Expensive.
We want to hear.
All right. So, of course, you have they'll give you a certificate of sponsorship where the school they're gonna, you have that to go to the embassy to say, all right, you have a job and whatever. They're not
Okay.
necessarily giving you any money, but if they don't put on that certificate of sponsorship that they're willing to support you for the first few months, then
Right.
you have to have some money to show in your account, like maybe your recruiter will tell you like what amount you'll need to have. I
So
think she
you're
told me
saying,
like
are you saying
200
because
and
you had a so-called sponsor, you
yeah.
didn't have to have a certain amount of money in your account?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
you're there. It's called a certificate of sponsorship. You'll still get it because you need it to show that that's going to be your job. You got a job offer,
Yeah, you're
and
eligible.
how long is your contract and all of that.
Yeah.
But on it, there's a part that would say if they are going to sponsor you for that time financially.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she did tell me that the school is willing to put that they'll sponsor me financially, but they're not actually gonna give you
Yeah.
any money. Understand? So it's like a little way to bypass showing your account because there's no way I would have to pay for visa and NHS, which I'll
Yeah.
explain, and then my flight there,
I'm
plus have
happy.
200 and odd $1,000 in my account. So
Yeah. I'm happy that you said that because I've seen one of the applications before. I didn't when I was in Jamaica, I was interested in going to England actually. But
mhm.
I saw the application for one of them. I think it was Hourglass, and they had stated how much I would need in my account, and I was like, I don't have this money, so let me leave
Exactly.
that alone. So I'm happy that you said that so people can know that with ICANN, it's called ICANN Teach.
Yeah.
With I Can Teach, they give you that sponsorship, I guess, so that you can bypass that part. All right,
And
continue.
it's only if the school is willing to
Oh,
state that.
okay, okay. So
Yeah.
it's a school thing, not
Yeah,
necessarily
the
the
school would have to be willing to state that they are going to sponsor you. It's just to help
okay,
you to bypass that part. If not, you'll have to have
okay,
the money.
cool. All right,
Yeah,
so you got the sponsorship,
the sponsorship.
and then what happened next?
And then after you can't really do much without the certificate of sponsorship. So after that now I could do my visa application. Which was which is very different from the US Embassy. You set your appointment, you go in, they collect the papers from you. You go
Okay.
in, they do what they call the biometrics, where they do your fingerprints and you take a picture and then you leave. That's it. There
Oh,
was no, I'm sorry, I thought this was on Do Not Disturb, but there was no interview where anybody would question you or ask you for anything, right? So you just bring in your papers. They tell you what you need to bring in, your passport, the certificate of sponsorship, your job offer, and any other document that you think would be necessary. They don't tell you exactly what.
okay.
Any other document you think would be necessary, but those definitely they tell you what you really need, and then any other thing you think that would help you, to push you to get a visa. And I waited like a week. Some persons waited longer, honestly, but I waited like a week, and then it was sent to me in the mail.
Oh,
They like delivered to me through, I don't remember which one, but one of those delivery companies.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it was delivered to me. And for payment, no, to pay for the visa, you have to pay for, in all, I think I used about 2,000 something US. I don't know why they collected it in US, but it was US. You have to pay for what you call NHS, which is like health. So when you pay for NHS, you can have access to like a doctor's visit without
Mm,
paying to go to the doctor. You
okay.
still pay because you pay that bunch of money. So,
Yes.
right. But actually, you can go to the doctor without paying. If
Unlimited amount of times
no, you can go any amount of time.
without paying.
Um,
Okay.
without paying, you just set your appointment. The catch is though it's hard to get an appointment sometimes on NHS. So if I want to have an appointment, like for now, I have an appointment in the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe a week or 2 weeks ahead. So but they do have services, so if you have emergency, you can call like 111 and they'll send you to a hospital or something. So it's fine. And if you want to fill a prescription, it's like you pay I think £9 or something. If you're filling 1 pill, 10 pill, 20 pills,
Right.
you pay just £9. So that's what the NHS covers. It covers a lot of things, but then there's a wait time if you're not gonna pay the money.
Okay. So you paid the $2,000 and then
Yeah,
you
2000 something. Yeah, US, and then I had to buy my ticket now. So my ticket was like 1,100, and that was cheap. Let me tell you, my sister got a deal, right? So that was 1,100. So in all, and I'm not ashamed to say, half of the money that I paid, I had to borrow.
of course.
I had to borrow. So now, in all, I have like call it 5,000 or maybe 5,000 something pounds to pay back.
Wow.
And that includes getting everything ready and set, getting your visa and all of that.
And we soon get into whether that £5,000 borrowing that was even worth it. Um, so you got your visa and everything, you bought your ticket, you're there. Prior to getting there, okay, so you said that your sister helped you to, land in a place to stay. But
Mm-hmm.
what about people who don't have a sister over there to help them? Will the
Well,
school or the what you call it, the agency help you to get somewhere?
actually, the most the agency did for me and my housemate was connect us to each other. Because Jasmine, she knew that we would be working in a similar area where we could share somewhere to live. So she connected us together. That way we can live with somebody that we know. She connected us from before we left Jamaica. So we were
Right,
talking on the phone and stuff like that. Um, they were telling me that sometimes I think there is a way that teachers can get housing, but it's not always available. It's not something that's always available. And I did hear
right.
stories that sometimes the housing is not so nice.
Well,
Right. So I decided that I'll just work with my housemate and
and do your thing.
So she came up, she didn't have anybody. I was at my sister in Bristol, 3 hours away. And we didn't get the chance to come down. So she was actually in London before me. And she had to pay for Airbnb. I mean, I wish I told her so she could put on some clothes and come sit beside me and talk as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But she had to pay for Airbnb, which was very expensive. And imagine paying so much money and then you have to come up here again and pay money again
Yeah, that's
for.
a lot.
So she was paying for Airbnb until we found somewhere.
Mhm.
Somebody at her workplace, found a place, and then I could come down with my sister and yeah. So it's not ideal. I won't even get into that.
Okay,
The place that we found, it's not. I mean, it's comfortable. We have one bedroom, bathroom, kitchen,
right.
bed.
Are the
So I
bedrooms
don't want
small?
anybody get the idea that it's. But the
Mhm.
thing is, or I can just say it. It's not actually a two-bedroom. It's a bed.
Mhm.
It's a one-bedroom with a living room.
That
But
is
the
convert.
landlord was flexible, so one of us live in the living room and one of us live in the bedroom. So yeah,
I mean,
that's how we
you
live.
have to do what you have to do. Like it
Yeah,
is what it is.
and it's
Yeah.
quite comfortable. So.
All right, so we're good then. All right, so getting into this, the work life of
Mm-hmm.
the UK, because and I want to say this, guys, I had asked I think 3 or 4 other individuals to come here and share from England, and they were all busy. So I'm wondering, what kind of work are you guys doing over there that everybody is busy? It wasn't difficult to get some people from China. It wasn't difficult to get people from US. What are you guys doing over in the UK? So first of all, let's start with the simple things. How many classes do you teach presently? What age level? What level do you teach? How many classes do you teach? And what's the number of students that you have in your classes, like on average?
All right.
Let's start
I
with level.
teach KS3, which is year, and we call them year. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
grade 7, 8. We say year. So it's
Mm-hmm.
year 7, 8, and 9.
Okay.
We don't offer my subject in GCSEs yet.
Mm-hmm. Which
So
could be a blessing, right?
trust
That
me.
sounds like a lot of work. Just say,
Trust me, it's a blessing.
yeah.
So my subject area is just year 7, 8, and 9, and I have four of each class. I have 4 year sevens, 4 year 8, 4 year 9.
Stop. Wait,
And
wait, wait, wait. My math is wait. Four times
yeah,
two is 12. So
yeah,
you have 12 classes?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And the lowest amount of students would be 20. The lowest class I have is what, 22, and it can go up to like 29.
Okay.
Yeah,
When you compare this to Jamaica, how many classes did you have at your former school?
man. Um, it was it. All right, honestly, it's going to sound like a lot, but it wasn't a lot because
Okay.
I thought year 10, I mean grade 10 in Jamaica, grade
Yeah.
10, 11, 12, 13.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, I had like one grade 12 class, one grade 13
Right.
class, and then I had one grade 10, one grade 11. That's what, four. And then sometimes we might end up with a grade 9, which I didn't like, but sometimes we might end up with a grade 9. But it wasn't that much. There are times when I would be sitting down doing nothing
Okay.
in Jamaica. Like I would be sitting down doing nothing, and then it feel like a lot of work in Jamaica, honestly. But when
Mhm.
I'm looking back, Jamaica was a bed of roses.
What? That is crazy.
No,
But
I'm serious. I'm
how many?
serious.
All right, you said you had like in Jamaica grades 9, sometimes 10, 11, 12. How many students did you have per class?
All right. Well, the year the grade 11 and 12 students, I didn't have much honestly in those
Right.
classes, maybe 12 or 13. The grade 10 and 11 would usually be bigger, but you get them a lot in grade 10, and then they filter out by grade 11 because they start switching up their practicals, or they switch up what they want to do. So I would
Right.
start grade 10 with like maybe 20 students or so on. And I used to complain that that is a lot of students.
And now you have
Um,
12 classes with about how does that work? I am so curious because I have 6 classes right now. I don't think I would want any more. But you
Mm-hmm.
have type 6 times 2 and 22 to 29 students.
Yeah.
How does that work in terms of like marking your papers, and how does what I don't even know the question that I'm really
I,
asking, because do you
I
have to give them
feel
tests and work like in Jamaica? Do you have a lot of papers to mark? What is it like?
Alright, the way how they do it here, honestly, I think they know that it's a lot of work. So, like the last set of year 8, they don't give everybody their assessment the same time. So I'll
Okay.
have year 8 assessment like this term,
Mm-hmm.
and you get time to mark them and put them on the system, and then so the year 8 did their assessment last year,
Right.
and then in January, I think the year 9 and 7 did theirs, and then I
Mm-hmm.
got to mark theirs. So it's not really, they don't do all of them the same time. You know how in Jamaica they would have everybody doing their Christmas exam
At once.
at once? No.
Right.
So they don't do it like that. And then for marking books, and that's for my school because I know that every school do it
It's
differently.
different. Right.
But for my school, for marking books, they don't expect you to really mark every single thing in the book. But what they do, they have a system that you call red pen and green pen. So the students with red pen their work. So teachers don't use red pen.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you give them an activity to do, you're supposed to give them the answer afterwards, and then they use the red pen to make the correction. So that's a way of saying that I went through the work with them and
Right.
mark what they did wrong. And then you can go through now and choose like maybe one or two work that you want to mark. And then you mark that. So
Okay.
you have to like plan out yourself. I'm still, because I suck at that part, and that's one of the things that they're helping me to improve on. So you have to plan out what you want to mark, and then
Mm-hmm.
you mark it, because they'll have what they call a book scrutiny. So sometimes they'll just ask you for random books and see if, check.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
So book scrutiny, I do remember a friend of mine telling me about that because they're big on note taking and they believe that what taking notes will equal success.
Mm-hmm.
With note taking. Okay. I know you said that exams aren't given all at once, but how many grades are you expected to have for each class? Do you have, what do you call it? Semesters or terms? What do you all call it?
Term.
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 So at the end, how
Mm-hmm.
many terms? Two or three?
I honestly, they have several terms, because you work for like 6 weeks and you get 2 weeks off.
Okay.
So that 6 weeks would have been a term. But
Okay.
for the entire year, they get one assessment.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
sounding bad. Is
Yeah.
that the same exam that you were talking about?
Yeah, that's it.
That's not bad.
Oh.
That's not bad at all.
And that's why I said they know that it's a lot, because if I was supposed to
Yeah,
have more than one, it would be a lot to mark. So that's
that's
one of
not
the
bad
pros.
at
It's not
all.
terrible. It's not
Hmm.
terrible.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was the table.
So, all right. So you have 12 classes. I'm still hung up on that part.
No,
So,
honestly, even though I don't have a lot of papers to mark, it's a lot. Trust me.
yeah. Is it that you have like one class, you only see each class once per week?
Yeah.
Teachers who teach other subjects because you're teaching foods, teachers who like teach math or English or science, do they have the same thing going on, or do they see like fewer classes?
No. I think some of them, based on conversations with, I think she teach geography. She said that she saw her students like maybe twice a week. So, but that the thing is that they only have one session with that. I have a double session, so I only see them once, right? So that's what, for some people. I'm not hearing you.
This whole time I'm talking, I think I think, by the way, because I'm muting my mic in between because I have a cold and I'm coughing and
Okay.
I'm doing all these things, so I'm muting my mic in between. So sorry about that, viewers and Daydream. I'm asking what's the lesson planning. I'm here this whole time saying that's not better and everything. Anyway, um, right. What's lesson planning like? Like how many lessons do you have
Well,
bits on a weekly basis? Do you
I
have to?
don't know. And
Um,
remember, because maybe some persons from UK are watching. This is not for every school, but I don't write a lesson plan from the time I came here.
Wait, man. It looks like I didn't know, man. The grass is looking green
But
in
no,
England.
it can be different from other schools.
I
It
understand,
can be different.
but the grass is
Yeah.
looking green on your side of England.
I don't miss it. I don't do any evaluation. I don't write
Uh-huh.
any lesson plans. The most I'll do is actually like plan the lesson, like make a PowerPoint, which
Right,
is
which is
fine.
just your general preparation. But do you
Yeah.
have to submit that PowerPoint to anyone?
There's a little sharing point where you can go on, so it's automatically there. So anybody wants to go and look, they can go
But it's
and check
not
it. Which I know,
mandatory.
no man, it's supposed to be there.
Okay, okay, okay.
Suppose
But it
so, just
sounds
in
like
case, like
nobody's
if
really
I'm not
checking.
there, somebody can jump in and teach a lesson. It's supposed to be
Okay,
there, but that's the least,
okay.
just a PowerPoint for the lesson.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
simple.
and then for some persons who come up here, they may have those lessons already planned out for them, so they literally don't have to do anything. I came here because my department is fairly new. It's just my line manager and me, and he was doing all of that before. So he only had all the lessons for year seven ready. So that's why it was a little bit challenging for me. So I had to come here and develop the curriculum for year eight and nine.
Okay.
And I don't keep them for the entire year. So in February I switched. So the classes that he had for product design came over to me for food technology. So I finished everything and now it's easy breezy now because I have everything planned, so I don't have to do any other planning.
Right. All right. So the only thing that you've said thus far that doesn't sound greener is having 12 classes. Because personally, like personally, I would want to see so many students at once,
Yeah.
like, every week or whatever. But everything
Especially in
else
a
is so
practical class.
right. Right. Is the space big, by the way? Is there
It's
the working area bigger than Jamaica?
well, my school where I was in Jamaica had that top tier home economics department. I'm just saying, we got Marcus Garvey Technical High School, right? They had an amazing home ec department, but I've worked at other schools, which this is heaven compared to, yeah.
Okay. So
And
you're used to the
the
good life.
students
So
don't buy their ingredients; we buy everything for them.
that's so nice because I know
Yeah,
in Jamaica many students want to do foods like beyond the grade nine,
yeah, and
but
it's
they don't have the
expensive.
money.
But
Right. That is so nice.
I understand that some of the schools though do allow kids to bring their stuff in, but my school doesn't.
That is so nice. So your school sounds like one of the better funded schools then.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, yeah, it's like a federation. It's a federation of schools. So you have different types of schools. Um,
Okay.
Different schools under that
That's
federation. Yeah.
right. Okay, got it. All right. So like I said, everything is sounding good so far. What is student behavior like? Is it similar? Because you had said previously that in your interview, they were prepping you to say, hey, some of these students have challenges, and we want to know if you will be able to, take on that task. What is student behavior like? Is it because you are at Marcus
All
Garvey, and
right.
if you are Jamaican here,
Yeah.
we all know what Marcus Garvey is. It similar to or different from? Is the behavior similar or different from Marcus Garvey?
It's similar in a sense. You have students from different
Okay.
backgrounds. You have students who are coming from foster homes. You have students who have social workers. You know those students with broken homes and
Right.
stuff like. Some of them have need financial help and stuff like that. But so that's gonna affect their mental health and their behavior. So you do have difficult students to deal with. Honestly, difficult.
I
But
caught that. I caught
honestly,
that. If anybody else didn't catch it, I caught it. I heard what you said, and I see what you were trying to say, but I caught it, and I hope if people are really, I caught that. Continue.
honestly, but it's not everywhere. You see, I have to stress that. But it's the area that I am at. The area where I am at, it's like, you'll have a lot of you know, I don't want to say it in a bad way. You have some little communities where kind of rough,
Right.
hard living, and
Difficult.
they have students coming from those areas, and you know these kids are gonna tell you the truth to your face.
What
Yeah.
what has anyone surprised you with thus far? Anyone tell you
I
something that was
mean, no, it's just like they'll give you an attitude that you'll tell them to sit there and they're gonna tell you straight up, I'm not sitting there.
like,
And they're going to stand, and you have to understand that they are not going to sit there, and you have to like
so
me
there,
and my housemate call it big friend.
mhm.
So you basically have to understand and kind of like negotiate.
Means
And
it's called building a relationship with your students.
right, so you
Right.
have to like I understand that you don't want to sit there. I understand how you feel, and I would feel the same way too. But we have to get on with the lesson. Do you mind just sitting here until we can speak about it after? You have to.
Okay. So what happens if the student does not move?
The best you can do is they have systems where you can log, like, for somebody to come and get the child, so you can log
Okay.
A removal if they're being very defiant, like, shouting, screaming. You can log on someone, come and get him out of your class. Or if
Okay.
in this case where they're not being too rude, but they're just deciding that they're not gonna sit there, you can send for somebody. What did they call it again? Oh Jesus, it slipped out of my mind. But those persons will help. Like if there's
Mm.
like a mental health issue or a student who is having a hard time, maybe they're crying about something, you'll call them. What are their names again? Safeguarding. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can call them, and they'll probably sort it out, and hopefully. But hopefully you can talk to that child. Most times when I tell them, I do what I just said, like, I understand, but we can talk about it after. They're gonna come back to you afterwards though.
Oh,
They are going to remember and tell you that they don't want to sit there,
another
and then
time.
you have to try and figure out another seating plan. But they're gonna tell you straight up. They're going to tell you straight up. They're not sitting there.
Is it a case where they don't want to, like the scenario that you just brought up? Is it a case where they don't want to sit in a particular area because they want to sit with their friends, or because they
It
just
could be that, or they don't like a student, or they're not
petty
comfortable with a
stuff,
student. Yeah,
petty stuff?
I've had students tell me that they don't want to sit there because whoever smells, and I have to tell them that you don't say that.
Wow.
But
What is the support from the administration, like where student behavior is concerned? Um, if you said that you have safeguards or whatever that you can ask to assist you, but if there is something that is beyond safeguarding, I'm gonna put it that way. Do the administrators ever step in to help?
yes, yes. Um, as I tell you that we use what you call bromcom, so you can just go in and log if there's a student who is being very loud or disturbing the class or anything. You can
Mhm.
definitely log it, and in a few minutes you'll see one of the admins or the assistant principals
Oh,
coming to get that child to take them out of your classroom.
okay,
But of course, there are protocols. They're gonna automatically get a 20-minute or 40-minute detention or reflection, as they call it, because I said detention it sounds too harsh.
right.
So a 40-minute reflection, and you're required to go there and have a conversation with the child to repair the relationship. Yeah,
Or to further beg friend. Okay.
yeah,
Um,
to repair.
do you have a lot of fights in your school?
I've never seen a fight since I've been here,
Do
and I
students
think
argue
it's
a lot with each other?
yeah, they will argue. They will argue, and probably there were fights in other classes that I don't know about, but
Uh-huh.
they will argue. They will tell each other to shut up, and they'll throw, because that happened in my class. They'll throw really bad words towards each other
Do
and
they
stuff
tell you
like
bad
that.
words?
No, nobody. Mm-mm,
Okay.
no,
I should have
but
asked.
they'll
Uh-huh.
they'll argue with each other, definitely. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, they'll come into the class and say, Miss, I can't sit next to Malika because we had an incident last week,
Yeah.
and I just make
You
sure
can
I don't
stop
sit
here.
there.
Okay. I should have asked this earlier on. With I
Mhm.
Can Teach, can you tell them where you want to be placed in terms of like what city?
Well, probably I did not tell them. They just told me which school is
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess they'll tell you what school is looking for a teacher in your subject area. And if you don't want to go there, I guess you can decline and tell them to tell you when there's something available. But I didn't have any choice. I mean, I was just happy to leave Jamaica. So they told me that there was a school in Croydon. I didn't even think to say, is there any other option?
Right.
Right. But I mean, definitely when you come here though, you have options. You can change your job if you want to.
Oh, that's nice.
You can.
That's cool. What would you label as your most difficult challenge or the most challenging thing that you have to put up with on your job? Like if this is something that you're saying, wow, this is next to unbearable, or just this makes my day like less happy or not as happy as I would want it to be, what would that one thing be?
The only thing that I have been struggling with so far, and it's getting better, is managing their behavior,
Okay.
because it's very very different from Jamaica, right? You know, you can just look at a child and roll your eye 2 time, and you
Right.
it's very different here. There are a lot of things that you have to remember. You have to remember to log what to Bromcom, log
Mhm.
it to CPAMs, log it to this call, who call parents. There are a lot of
Yes.
protocols.
I was about to ask you that because in the US, in order for us to log, or at least where I'm at, we have to make a call to the parent first. If you don't get through, fine, you can still log it. But in order to log, do you have to call the parents first, or can you just go ahead and log?
You can log. You can log.
Okay.
You have like teacher reflections where you can have them come back after school for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Um, and then you have 40 minutes where they'll just go with a coordinator, so you won't see them after school.
Okay.
But the only time that you really need to call a parent, if the child is being really difficult, you can just freely call the parent and have that conversation. But you have to log that you call the parent, and after you remove them from the class, you have to call the parent to explain why. Because they do get a note when if for a
Right.
removal, the parents get an email that they're
Okay.
removed from the lesson. So you have to call and explain why.
All right, so moving away from school life, and
Mm-hmm.
the part that everybody is really here to hear about, the money. I'm not asking you to disclose your pay unless you
Mm-hmm.
want. That's your business. Um, but you said earlier on that in all you spent about £5,000 getting there. How feasible
Probably
was that?
more.
Probably more. Okay.
Yeah.
How how is that working out for you now? Is it just with a yes or no right now? Was that worth it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
It was worth it.
I'm not saying it's easy now, but yeah, it is worth it.
Okay. Do you see where you're able to, because you stated before that you are a single young lady, you have a housemate. Um, do you see where you're able to save more than when you were in Jamaica? And we understand that currencies are different, cost of living different everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see where you're able to save more?
All right. For now, I'm not able to save as much as I want to
Mm-hmm.
because, I am paying off all of those. So I'm
Low.
trying to clear those loans, right?
How soon do you
But
think you can pay them off? If I'm not getting too personal now.
no, if I stick to my plan or my budget that I have, I should be able to pay them off by the end of the year if I'm disciplined and stick to it, right?
Right.
But the good thing is that when you come here, you can get 2 years tax free.
Okay.
So that really helps. So what I'm doing, that tax that they would usually take out, because they take a lot of tax, like 300 and something um,
Pounds
pounds,
per
yeah,
month.
per month. And then you have pension. You have the option to opt out of pension, which
Oh,
I did. I opted out of pension. I'm not going to do it for long though, but just to help me balance off.
right.
Right. And then but it's trust me, it's a lot. The rent is expensive, especially in London. Other
What's
places
right like?
all right. So in London, rent for like a 1 bedroom can be like 1,000 something pounds. 2 bedroom can be 1,600 and something, 1,800 up. So
Okay.
definitely, that if you're sharing, you're gonna pay like 500 and something.
Okay.
Right. So and then gas. So we have to in the UK we don't have the luxury of AC, right?
I like that.
So right. So they have what you call like radiators. You'll see radiators on the walls. You can go on Google to see
Mm-hmm.
how the radiator would look. So that's what you use to warm up. And you have a broiler, and the broiler uses the gas. So we have the gas is used to warm up your water, to warm your house, and to cook. So gas is very expensive, especially during the winter.
Ah,
So that is an
how much can that come up to?
Alright, so me and my housemate
Wait,
would pay like £200, and we try to stretch it. So she would put 100, I would put 100, and
Right.
I had to stretch it. But gas can whoop your butt. Yeah,
Wow.
but it's mostly expensive during the winter though, which you can understand because it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the good thing is that you get paid and you can pay your bills. You may
Uh-huh.
not, if I did not have my loans to pay back,
Uh,
because not only am I paying back that money that I worked here, if I only had that to pay back, I'd be fine. But
right.
student loan and other little things in Jamaica that I was paying.
Uh-huh.
So if I didn't have all of those to pay, I'd be fine.
What about water? You said gas for the to whatever, but do you have to pay a water bill as well, separate?
Yeah. We have to pay water bill, but we can pay it monthly if we want. But what we did was just we do two payments per
What's
year.
that like? What's oh, you can do it yearly, cool.
Yeah,
What's
you
that
can do
like?
it
What's
yearly.
that payment yearly payment like?
So we have another payment coming up, which is like 400 and something pound. Yeah, and
For
the last
water?
time we paid 400 and
For
something.
water?
Yeah, so it's like for the year, it's probably like 900 pounds or something like that.
Okay.
And then electricity, which is not bad now. They do have help, like the government have some help because we haven't paid any electric bill for a
Oh,
while because they have something that would help. So
how do I
you
get help?
I don't know, I know. They just said that there's because of the cost of living or whatever, they're adding some money to some persons and we got
Okay, that's
stuff.
nice. That's nice. What's your grocery bill like
Well, I mean, £50 can get you a lot of things.
for the month?
Yeah.
That's nice.
£50 can get you a lot because when I just came here, I had £100 and to serve me for the rest of the month because you know that you just got here, you didn't get paid yet or whatever. And I
Right.
went to the store and I'm like, I pray to God this £100 can get me some groceries. And I went up to the front and I realized that the cashier was Jamaican, so I was glad. So I was like, please let
Yeah.
me pass £100. And then
Oh,
he's like, "You're gonna get back change." And
yeah.
I bought chicken, rice, flour. You know, you just starting, so you have
Everything.
a lot of things to buy.
Yeah.
And it was like 60 something pound.
Oh,
And it could have been better, but my sister said when she got here, a lot of you could get way more. But the cost of living is rising, so
okay. That doesn't sound bad at all. Um, and guys, we're about to wrap up. I'm gonna ask Deja a few more questions, but if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat box. Now is the time to put your questions in the chat box. What is the social life like? Because I've heard people say, "Don't go to England. You're going to be depressed. You're going mad." Like I've heard those things, and it's gloomy over there.
oh,
Um,
trust me,
it's gloomy.
it rains.
Oh my god.
It rains so much, and then by 4, like during winter,
Uh huh.
4 p.m. is pitch black, dark, pitch black and dark. So I go to work in the dark and I leave in the dark. When I'm leaving at 7 a.m., it's dark, it's black.
Wow. So about what time the sun start coming up?
The sun start coming up like maybe 8 o'clock, and then the sun start going down by 4.
I don't like that.
And then now when it comes to this time of the year now in summer, 10 p.m. would be bright outside.
Uh, okay.
So,
Interesting.
but the rain though, it's rainy and
Is it
it's
easy to make friends?
no. I mean, like just to walk on the road and randomly, no, nobody done business with
Or
you.
like, okay, in Jamaica, in our workspaces, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, your coworkers are not your friends," but in Jamaica, how we flex and your coworkers can actually become your
Mhm.
very good friends. Is it a similar atmosphere over there?
Of course, you can make good friends. They are very friendly. They are very friendly. I mean, you'll be walking down. I don't know half of the name, and you'll be just walking down the hall, and they're like, Hi, how are you? How was your weekend? What did you do? I went to wherever. And, they'll ask you how was the weekend. They'll ask you how was the day. You can make
But
friends.
isn't that like that sounds like they're just being like, work cordial. Like, but
I
do you,
know,
yeah.
but I mean, I've seen. All right, for my school, every Friday they would go to the pub or the bar and chill. So they
Okay.
have that, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to have some drinks at the pub. Are you coming?" Most times I don't go, honestly,
Right.
because they're talking about things that I don't.
Care to talk about.
Yeah, but yeah, they'll invite you. They're like, "We're going to the pub or whatever." I know that if I've been going to the pub with them more often, I'll definitely have a friend
Yeah.
there. But of course, there you may not have like a lot of friends, but you can definitely make a friend.
Okay.
Definitely.
Um, if okay, if scenario, what if I'm a single mother with
Mm-hmm.
one child? I had some money saved up, so I didn't have to take any loans or anything to get to England. Um, do you think it's feasible for me with my child, just myself and my child? I don't have support from my baby father. Do you think it is feasible for me to leave Jamaica and come with my child who is perhaps 2 years old?
Maybe not two, because then you'd have to leave the child at some nursery or something, and that's expensive. I was talking to one of my coworkers, he's also from Jamaica.
Right.
She was explaining that she had to pay like £900 for a carer for her 2 year old.
For the month.
Yeah, per month.
Okay.
So
That's
if you could wait until the child is bigger where they can actually go to school, it's cheaper they go to school.
hmm. Oh,
Yeah. So I
how do
would
you
advise anybody. That's what my sister did when she was
uh-huh,
coming. She left her kids, and they didn't come up until a while after.
uh-huh. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat right now, so I'm asking the questions. How do you get around? Like, how do you get to work, get to the supermarket, get to wherever you want to get to?
Um, in London, it's pretty easy. Those big red buses. You have a bus that goes literally everywhere. So you can easily, and also it's not hard for me to get my Jamaican food. Today I made some chicken
Oh,
soup with my grapes, cock soup, and my yellow yam, and you know. So you
okay.
have, sorry, you have like shops like on the way. You have what you call a high street. So you have like shops on the way, like in the busy areas where you can go in. They call them what, premieres. They'll sell like African food, Indian food, Jamaican food, and stuff like that. And then you have your big supermarkets like Tesco and Aldi, and you can just easily get a bus. You need like a Oyster card though.
Uh-huh.
You can just pay fare. So you have an Oyster card, or you can use your bank card to pay for the bus ride, which is £1.65 to go where you're going. But if you tap in, like, if you're going to the store and you finish before an hour, you don't pay, because within 1 hour you only tap one time.
Uh-huh.
You can take like 12 buses in 1 hour and you only pay £1.60.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but
That's
after an
good.
hour it starts over.
It starts over. Okay. It's like the Marta bus here. Rashida is asking, do you get permanent residents living and working there? Can you get that after a while?
Yeah, like I've been told after 5 years you can apply. So
Mm.
my visa is only for my BRP. Actually, you get a visa only to enter, then you
Uh-huh.
get a BRP to hold.
What's a
So
BRP base? I don't know the
like
abbreviations.
it's like a card. It's just like a card that you can show that you have permission to work here and live here. And then you'll renew that after. So I got 2 years, my housemate got 1 year. Some persons pay for up to, the more years you have, the more money you pay. So after my
Oh,
2 years, I'll have to pay to renew that for another 2 years.
uh-huh.
And then I would pay again to renew that. So you renew it up until 5 years, then you can apply
Okay,
to.
and there will be no issues applying. I can teach. The agency will not restrict you from applying for residency or anything like that.
No,
That sounds
no.
nice.
And I can talk for, I can teach. They're very supportive because she, my recruiter, she even messaged me the other day asking me how things are going and if I'm willing to stay there. So, if I wanted to change my job, she would definitely try and look for another one for me for September. And
Oh,
yeah, they're not gonna stop you. After 5 years, you can apply for your residency.
okay. I want people in the chat box to tell me, since I don't see any questions, based on what Deidre has said, do you think that this grass is sounding greener for you all? Just send me a G for greener and send me a N for no. As or NG for not greener. G for green, NG for not greener. It sounds greener to me, except the 12 classes are still ringing in my ears. The 12 classes, like, oh
I
my
mean,
God.
it has pros and cons. Honestly, I don't. It has its pros and cons. I'm telling you. There are
Uh-huh.
gonna be days when you feel like, why me leave Jamaica, come up here?
Uh-huh.
Like, why should I come up here and let these kids be rude, or but honestly,
Mhm.
I have my classroom, you get a smart board, you get your computer, you get your resources.
Yeah. Would you go back? This is personal. This is a personal question, but do you see yourself going back to Jamaica, maybe?
I mean, for vacation, yeah. Definitely. I wish I could go back this summer, but it's very expensive. And as I
Yeah.
said, I'm on a mission to pay off all my debts. So I have to wait until next year. But for vacation, of course.
This is funny.
My
Deidre
best
said
friend
the
is in the chat.
vacation.
She can tell her that I'm not allowed. She's in the chat. She
Who
can
was
tell
in
her
the
that
chat?
Shinaga, my best friend,
Aw.
Shaksonique.
Hey,
She can tell her
bestie.
that she not gonna allow me if leave the airport if I come say I'm coming back home.
Aw. All right, so I
No.
have some people here saying that it sounds greener, and it does sound greener. I'm just still very much freaked out by the 12 classes. Um, what? Somebody in the chat, Travell just said, I used to teach 15 classes at a school in
What?
the days. 15, miss? No, man. Fifth, that is crazy.
I see
Um,
somebody in the chat saying that the initial start is a lot of money. However, it's definitely greener, which is true.
yes,
Like,
I'm asking some
it's
more
tough.
questions. No.
It's really tough. I've got through a month already where the money finish and I have to be like, oh God, pinching the grocery. It's tough when you just come here because you just have to keep your eye on the prize and just make up your mind to pay off what you have to pay off, and then
Yeah.
after that you'll be fine.
The questions are just coming in now. Somebody's asking, what is the qualification needed to apply?
Um I guess a degree. You need a degree in teaching or whatever subject
What if I
area
have a
you be
diploma,
teaching.
miss? Because I'm sure people are probably wondering, what if I have a diploma?
I'm not sure. I think it should. I wish I could go and ask my housemate. Because she probably would know the
Is
answer
she
to.
over there? Say,
She's
housemate,
here.
come here.
Alright, let me mute and call her.
Yeah, like we want to know those things. And I'm asking this for you guys because I know I get these questions all the time. Like, what if I have a diploma, or what if I'm gonna ask Deidre this when she gets back up, when she comes back, or what if I have a degree in, let's say, like I got this question recently. I have a degree in engineering, but I want to teach math. Like questions like those. So, guys, while Deidre is trying to get her housemate to assist her with some of the questions, make sure you put your questions in the comment section, and let me use this time to say, like the live, share the live, you guys. This is the last, for now, of this series, and we're moving on to other things in the next coming weeks. Not next week, especially, but in other coming weeks. So what's the answer, Deidre?
She's here. But she's not gonna come in the camera.
That's fine. That's fine. Hi, Rumi.
Hi.
Can we go to England to teach if we only have a diploma?
If you have a teaching diploma, yes. And once you have years of service.
Okay, so if I have a teaching diploma, and well, I guess at this stage, most people with a teaching diploma would have years of service because we've been done away with teaching diplomas for a while. One more question: what if I have a bachelor's in, let's say, engineering, and I want to teach math? Does my degree or my qualification have to be in the direct subject that I'm teaching?
No, because my degree is in forensic
Oh
science.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm teaching chemistry, biology, and physics, not
does
the
that
rest.
affect your pay? Like, given that you're, yeah.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't because now I am
Oh yeah.
acquiring my postgraduate diploma
That's
in
Uh-huh.
something we
education.
need to
So
add.
it's not affecting anything. But if you already have a first degree and you were teaching in Jamaica, you can apply once you have been teaching over a year.
Okay,
Do you think we
wonderful.
would leave to go back to
To
Jamaica?
do what?
Okay. They heard that answer? I asked her
Um,
if she would leave to go back to Jamaica. Answer it again.
Do what?
She said to do
to do
what?
what? Oh my God. Oh
Yeah.
my
I would
God.
And
go,
do
no,
you
to be
think
honest, I would go back to
Mhm.
country because it is my country of
right?
birth. I love my
Oh,
country. But as it pertains to the structure and how things are right now, no.
And do you think the grass is greener here?
It is not, or it is only green if you water it. And let me explain
I
what I
like that.
mean. So, in Jamaica, all teachers have to do some jump through hoop for make them extra money. So if you have extra class for this student, that student, everybody student to make money. Over here, once you do your hours, you manage your money, you get paid to do like intervention for students and stuff like that. You can manage. It's just when you come over, you just have your intentions. And don't
Hmm.
make nobody make you feel like say you have to buy up all these brand things and buy all sorts of new
Live
stuff. Just
within your means.
Right, that
exactly
is
live
it.
within your means. Just do what you need to do. Get things done. Stay focused. If you have bills to pay at Jamaica, nobody run left your bills. I remember one day it gonna catch up on you. So pay a little
Okay.
bill. Take a little time. Build yourself. Rome
Yep.
wasn't built in a day, and none of
Uh-huh.
us can be able to build anything in one day.
That's solid words. Solid.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sound
roommate,
word.
housemate.
Thank
Somebody's asking once again.
Also,
Hold on. Yeah.
one more thing. If you can live on your budget in Jamaica,
Oh
you can
yes.
surely well live on a budget here and save at least £200 a month.
Yeah.
Oh, just
Because
£100.
yeah,
Okay.
because the salary that we're getting now, if you convert it, a teacher like myself who has a bachelor's, which is non-educational,
Mm-hmm.
and aspiring for a postgraduate in Jamaica now, my pay is about 130,000
About that.
before taxes.
Right.
Right now, as a first level teacher here in the UK, if we convert our money, and I know cost of living and everything,
Holy.
we're getting 400,000 now.
But I don't like to convert, like,
Yeah,
I,
cause
I
it's
don't I
different.
don't
because,
like to convert.
the cost of living is different and everything.
Yes, but to be honest, cost of living situation over here in the UK, it is
Mm-hmm.
rough. But because Jamaicans now overtake them on ton fashion, you
And
can take all at £20 and cook a meal. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So it's just that. Another thing though, Malika, that I want to add that I forgot, and I saw somebody said it in the chat is QTS.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we have to do. It's quality quality
Qualified teacher
teacher.
status or something.
Yeah, status. Yeah. So we are not currently working as qualified
Teachers.
teachers.
Oh.
So right, so the pay that we're getting is not a qualified teacher pay.
But
So
can't you get QTS before you enter the country?
I should I should think so. No, no, there are
Because
certain things that you
somebody.
have to do when you get here. No,
Okay.
no, because you'd have to get here. You'd have to. It's a long process. I mean, for now, they did. The good news is that you'd have to pay money and do some, get some evidence together and a fold and all of those stuff. But no, they have changed it where persons who are teaching core subjects like math, science, and English,
Mm-hmm.
they can just apply for it and get it. But for me, no, I probably have to go through the long route.
Okay. And just to clarify, is QTS what we would refer to as like a teacher's license? Can we compare it to that or no? Because given that it's called qualified teacher status or something like that, somebody would say, well, I already have a degree. Why do I need to get have a do all this to get qualified teacher status? Like my degree already qualifies me. So what would you compare to, like what is
It's
it
like
really?
it's like a degree here because they don't necessarily recognize our degree, because even with my degree and my C6 subject, I had to apply for something that would state what it is qualified as here.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the issue. A lot of teachers here were saying that we have a degree, why do they recognize the other person's degree, why we have to go through all of this? So
Right.
it's you can say it's kind of like a teacher's license or something like that, but it's just to show that you're qualified to be a
To teach.
teacher here.
Chantal Dixon is in the chat saying that yes, you can get QTS before
Okay.
going to the UK since recently. I asked because I know somebody sent it to me recently, a link that I could use or something to get qualified teacher status. Um, I know Travel earlier on was saying it's so like I want to go to England. It's something that I was thinking about actually. Other people are asking once more the name of the agency that you used. If you could just repeat that for those who were not here earlier on.
I can teach UK, and they are very active on Facebook, so you can just check them out. I can teach UK.
All right, thank you. I don't see any more questions.
I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything important, but
That's fine. Right, I'm not seeing any more questions, but let me, in the meantime, shout out TER Teachers Consultancy. Thank you for joining. And TER, guys, she does videos, I think mainly on the UAE. So, guys, check out that YouTube if you want to, possibly go to Dubai. Um, Travell said, "This young lady is from Upper Hills." Not true.
this young lady, what?
It's from Upper Hills. You come from
Yes,
Upper Hills?
I
Yes.
am from retirement, Waton, Bush, but I love it. Yeah, me
um,
nice and pretty.
all right. And Mark, I have to big up Mark. Mark is here every single live. Mark, I might just, you know what, let me keep my mouth shut in the meantime. But Mark, big up yourself, sweetie. And big up everybody else, Trivel as usual, and everybody else. I think there are some new comments. Let me scroll down back to the new comments. Um, yeah, that's it. So, guys,
Yeah.
we're thanking. Next question. What are the school hours like? And that's a good question. And
Oh, yeah. That's
what about
oh, sorry.
activities? The phone
So
not
the
working with us, but
school hours. Um, I'm a farm tutor, so tutor time would start at 8:30.
mm-hmm.
So definitely have to get there by 8. Teachers are supposed to
Okay.
be there by 8. The students will start coming in by 8:15. Then you start marking them at 8:30. So it's from 8 to 4. My last class is 3 though. But
Mm.
you can leave if you want to, but just like Jamaica, don't make it a habit because it's actually 8 to 4. Um
What breaks do you have in between?
Breaks, no break time. And I need to let me write this down so I don't forget. But break time is like, I think it's what, 20 minutes, and I get like a 40-minute lunch.
Okay.
Yeah, I get like a 40-minute lunch. I know it sounds like a lot compared to what I've heard in your other videos with the US. But
With
it
some
just
teachers in the US, because I get my full hour. I get my full
uh-huh.
hour, honey.
Because I'm saying that the 40 minutes still not enough, because literally you'll slap down the lunch, and then you have to stand at your door to greet the students.
Right.
That's one thing. They want you to stand at your door to greet them. So I'll be at the door with the napkin. Hi. Hello, because I just finished swallow the liquor food.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll be standing at the door with my water, drinking like I'm cute. Even
Right.
one student said, Miss, every time I pass you drinking water, you must be healthy. I'm like, right? But it's like 40 minutes. But the thing is, I noticed that they care about your personal time. So like if you have duties that you have to do, so you have like break duties, lunch duty, every single teacher is assigned a duty. You put on your visor, you can go outside. So during break time, there's always, I think that's what reduces most of the fight, because every
Oh,
duty, every lunchtime or break time, there's couple teachers out there standing in the hallway, standing by the library, standing at the doors, standing outside at the benches in the lunchroom. So, you know, so you have your duty, and they do, what should I say? What's the word? They respect your time as it relates to, you might want a little session not doing anything, right? So, or use a little session for planning. So in
mhm.
like on Mondays I would have like some empty sessions. They're gonna respect that and not give you too much cover work. Like for example, if a teacher is out sick, they might assign you a cover, but they're not gonna use up all their time. You know, like how in
I get you.
Jamaica, if you have like an unassigned session and they're gonna say, "Oh, you're not doing anything," go no, they actually respect that, and you can actually say,
I should ask, do they message you outside of work hours?
no. I And the only reason I have my line manager's number is because he's cool. He's
Mm-hmm.
cool, but after that, it's just the email. It's just the email, and when they have like every 6 weeks you get like a 2 week off or a week off.
Mm-hmm.
In those 2 weeks, you know how Jamaica would take you and say, "Oh, we have personal development or professional development." They leave you alone. So they'll have like what you call inset day, which is like professional development. They do that like on the last day of school. So the kids don't come in.
Right.
Teachers come in for whatever professional development, and then they leave you alone
Do you
until you
get
get back.
emails? Do you get work emails during your 2 weeks off?
I've never gotten a work email during my 2 weeks off. Never,
Well,
never. And I
um,
love that.
you had jotted down something. Did you get to say what it was?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, all right.
That's what I
Somebody,
wanted to make mention. Yeah.
the next part of the question from Tony was, what about extracurricular activities? Um, do they have them?
Okay.
And do you, as a teacher, have to, be engaged? In Jamaica, they encourage you to be a part of a club or whatever is
Yeah.
the name.
They do encourage you to be a part of a club. I have a cooking club and it was there before, so I just saw some students turn up and I'm like, what? So then I realized that I have a cooking club.
Uh-huh.
But they do have extracurricular activities and they do put a limit on it. So the parents have to sign up online, and then like I can choose how many students I want to be in my club. So I chose 15, and if I have 15, then nobody else can sign up to come
Mm.
to the club.
Do you get
They do
extra
have
dinero for being a part
no,
of the club? Okay.
no. The only thing I see that
Uh,
they offer extra money for is like persons who teach year 11, where they'll have intervention classes to help them with their GCSEs coming up. So during the break, they might
uh-huh.
ask them to come in for those extra lessons, and you get paid for that. But I don't teach those
Okay.
levels, so
Right.
unfortunately,
That
I
doesn't
don't get
apply
that.
to you. Somebody's asking, can your spouse work too if you are a teacher? So let's say, so you're a teacher, your spouse isn't necessarily a teacher.
Of
Can
course,
he, okay, they get a work permit or something like that?
yeah.
How
My
soon
my sister
after?
came up as a nurse, and her husband is there working.
It
Another
can he work
teacher.
immediately after coming up?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wonderful.
My
Um,
another lady that works there, she came up with her husband and 2 kids, and he's there. He's working as well.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, TER Teachers Consultancy says those weeks off really make it greener. Um,
Yeah, I'm promise you. I promise you, it really helps. The only thing is though, we only get 1 month for summer break, so it's only August. Yeah,
don't
you
like
work all the way.
I don't like
You
that.
work all the way up to July, but
No.
the good thing, I think what balance it out is the 2 weeks that we get in between.
All
So you
right.
work for 6 weeks.
You said that you get 2 weeks off after 6 weeks, but do you get like little days off in between during the 6 weeks, like a one day, like a little public holiday off or
No.
something?
Maybe they have what they call bank holidays, but since I've been here, no bank holiday has fallen in any of those 6 weeks. But it fall within the 2 weeks. It fall within the 2 weeks that we get. So I don't know what's gonna happen for this year, but let's see. And another plus is you're in the UK, so it's easier for you to go to Paris, France,
Mm-hmm.
Italy, those places, because a train ride can get you to Paris in
Uh-huh.
2 hours.
Oh, that is nice.
So that's a plus as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Rashida says, thank you for these live sessions. They are really informative and helpful. And thank you all for
Yeah.
watching. Guys, in the upcoming weeks, I'm hoping, and if you guys are interested in this, just let me know. You can put it in the chat right now, or you can reach out to me through my Instagram or something afterwards. But I really wanted to do like a recap. Speaking to my viewers right now, I really wanted to do a recap of these lives that we've done. We've done China, USA, and now England. I wanted some of y'all who are watching to come on, just to have a short discussion on, based on what you all have heard, which ones you think, or which countries are are sounding better to you and why. And we'll just have a short discussion on that. If that's something that you guys are interested in, let me know. Please reach out to me. Add one, two, or three of you. Tony's asking, can we find the outline of when schools can we find the outline of when schools give the 2 weeks breaks online? Can we find that online, like the calendar, the school calendar online?
No, because it's probably different for some schools. Honestly,
Oh,
some schools may give you 1 week, some may give you two.
okay, but you're saying your school gives you two?
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Oh boy.
Also, guys, coming up in the next few weeks, because if you guys look at my channel, you'll realize that this is a variety channel. We don't just talk about teaching overseas. I do random things, actually, anything that I feel like doing. So in the upcoming weeks, there will be different lives on different topics, different live topics, so other people can join the conversation, not just teachers. So please look out for those in the future. I'll send out a post as usual. um but thank you all for coming. Thank you, Deidre, and once more.
No
And guys, she's a
problem.
singer. Deidre can sing. She's a songbird.
No matter with it, Miss Shy,
I'm not
no.
gonna, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna put you on spot, but I'm just letting the people know that you are also a songbird. Um, but yes, guys, and I can't say it enough that Deidre came on last minute. Thank you so much again, Deidre. In the
No
future,
problem.
yes, we'll talk about more teaching opportunities and whatever, but we're also doing other things. So once again, guys, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, like this video if you have not yet liked this video, and we're out. I'm ending the broadcast. Bye, guys. Have a good afternoon,
Bye.
or whatever time of the day that it